Welcome back to another vlog. Before I show you some of my plants and stuff around the gardens, I did take some of the whey that I got from making cheese on my last vlog. If you haven't seen it, it's a vlog before this one, but this is what's left over. It's called whey after you make cheese from the milk, and I did take some of the whey and I made some homemade hamburger buns for our hamburgers last night, and they turned out amazing. So in a future vlog, I'm gonna make these again with the whey and show you guys how I made them, because they turned out really good and I want you guys to know how to make them too. So that way none of this will go to waste. I did freeze dry some of the whey also to have on hand as a powder, so all I have to do is reconstitute that when I want to use it. So let's go check out all of the plants around here and in the gardens.
So if you remember, a couple weeks ago we planted peppers together, and this is the peppers. They're doing great and growing well. The little ones are some that my son planted. There's the rhubarb, some of my flowers. I need to separate those flowers out into a different place. And then here we're going to go outside to my raised bed garden. Those are the little pea sprouts. We planted those together as well, and they're coming up in both of the beds. And there's some collards and kale that I planted back in the fall. And here's some of my onions that I planted in this bed. The first bed I showed you, I have some beets in that bed, and there's my strawberries all along the side. They're coming up everywhere. These are the other brassicas that we planted. Some onions I put along in there with all of the brassicas by the edges, but this is the broccoli and Brussels sprouts. And then in this bed, there's more onions. I just put the onions in everywhere that I could. And then these are the potatoes. I planted these in my Day of the Life vlog that I did a couple weeks back. And some of the potatoes are starting to sprout and come out. So that's really cool. And then over here is my asparagus bed, and I've even eaten some of this asparagus out of here, and it was very tasty. But some of these are still very young, so I can't pick too many of these. Over here is where my big garden is in the back, and 4 of those trees are going to come down in about 2 weeks, but that's my big back garden, and there are my chickens. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to pot up some of my tomatoes. I have several varieties that I'll show you in the next clip of what I'm planting in these pots, but I went out into my chicken coop and I got some compost from there, and I'm just going to start my tomato seeds in these pots. I'm doing them in these bigger pots so I don't have to up pot them. Some people will plant their tomatoes in a big pot and put several seeds in one, and then they'll separate them out, but I don't like to do that, and then I find that I end up with way too many plants and I can't kill them. I feel bad to just kill off the ones that I don't want to use. I feel like that's wasteful, so I just plant 1 or 2 in each pot, and then if I end up having more than I need for my gardens here, I'll gift some to a friend. I would usually do this in our sunroom, but we have a lot of extra furniture in there right now, and I wasn't able to get in there, and it had some beautiful light here where we've gained an hour this evening that I was doing this just to sit here in my kitchen floor, and then I was just able to sweep up the mess when I was done. I didn't want to sit on my living room carpet and get soil all over that. So I just sat here and went through, put seeds in, made sure I labeled everything properly. I have not labeled well in the past and then did not know what tomatoes were what. So this year I'm really trying to make sure that I label everything well and keep up with that and keep up with where I plant things. I do want to get a notebook and write everything down where I plant them so that I could keep up with that. I feel like that's really important, especially when you're planting a lot of different varieties of things.
So when it comes to knowing what tomatoes to plant, it's always a hard decision because I love tomatoes and I just want to plant all of them, all the varieties and everything. But this year I narrowed it down to a few. I actually did not plant all of my varieties this year. I was a little bit more choosy. I mean, I still planted a lot, but so I planted Brandywine Pink. I planted some Sun Gold tomatoes. These are very sweet, very good. Paul Robeson, these are a favorite of mine, and these are beautiful green top, dark purple tomatoes. Amana tomatoes. Now I planted tomatoes last year and I did not get very many at all because the area which we are planting our tomatoes did not get a lot of sun, and it's the same area that we're having 4 trees cut down in about 2 weeks. So I'm really excited to grow tomatoes again this year in the garden in the backyard and see if having more sunlight will help me to get some more tomatoes, but I did not get very many of these. And then the year before, all of my garden was in the front yard, and something came and ate all my tomatoes right before they were ripe. So Amana, I'm really excited about these. They are a more yellowy orange tomato. I am planting Big Rainbow. These are beautiful tomatoes inside and out. They've got striping, yellow and orange striping in them. And then these two are new to me this year, but I planted mostly these types, and then I only planted 1 or 2 of the others that I showed you already. But these are going to be for all of my canning and, you know, tomato sauces, ketchups, barbecue sauce, and things like that I'm going to make. And these are really good for that. So I planted some Romas, and I planted some Amish paste, and I'm going to see which one of these two that I like the most for that. And then I planted a 42-day tomato. These are supposed to have the little tomatoes on them, and I like to have those for salads and things. And then I planted some tomatillos yesterday. I planted these last year and the plants grew, and then something came and ate them all. So hopefully I can figure out a good trellising system this year. And hopefully we can have an abundance of tomatoes in our garden and new to me tomatillos. I'm excited to make some salsa and some salsa verde and stuff like that with this. So those are what I plan to plant, or what I did plant and put in my grow room, and I hope that we have success with all of these. And I do have other things that I still haven't planted, but most of my other things left. I've already started my brassicas, which are out in the garden. You saw those earlier in this video. And they're actually doing great. This is the first year so far everything's looking as good as it does right now. We'll see if we get any harvest from that or not. And my peppers are all still in the grow room, and they look really great in the compost from my chicken coop. And so I will be direct sowing closer to, this is where it's beautiful today, and it's been beautiful the last couple days, but I'm pretty sure we're in a fall spring and it's probably going to get cold again. So I will be direct sowing more things out in the garden after the trees are down, and we can plow this garden up a little bit. And we have another garden across the street and another garden across by the side of our house where the raised beds are, where all my onions and brassicas are that I already showed you. But I will be probably closer to the end of April, 1st of May, direct sowing like my squashes and my pumpkins and my green beans. What else? A lot of my things left are just my flower seeds, my herbs and things like that. I'm just going to direct sow most of the other things that are left. I need to go look at the back of my packages though, just to check and make sure that I don't need to start seeds of any other varieties, but about half of my things need to be started indoors and half of my things can just be direct sown straight out into the garden. Just read the back of your seed packs, make sure that you're looking for when you need to start them indoors, how long it takes for them to germinate, the temperature of germination. Some things need light to germinate, so you might want to take that into consideration. I know someone who could not grow start lavender, and they would plant the seeds and nothing would ever grow. Well, they didn't ever put them under the grow light, and it needed light to germinate. So a lot of flowers need light to germinate too. look for your days till maturity, your spacing, everything on the back of here. The only thing I don't worry about on the back of a seed packet is an expiration date. So if something is expired, I think that they have to put, the year that you bought them, and they have to say that it's good just for that year. But I have seeds that I've planted and grown things from that were expired, and they do fine. If you're worried about it, plant 2 seeds instead of 1, and that way if they don't both germinate, you at least get 1, or plant more than 1 seed if you're worried about it. So I'm gonna get me a cup of coffee and chill for a bit, and I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching this kind of a video about updating you on my gardening and on my plants and my outdoor gardens and what's going on. And it's really getting ready to get really busy around here and exciting with garden season. So I'm hoping in 2 weeks when they come and cut down these trees that I'll be able to show you some of that. I'm really excited for the trees to be down that are shading my whole garden space. It doesn't look that bad out there now, but it's because there's no leaves on the trees. So we'll have all of that to turn into wood, and I have talked to the tree company also about bringing me more wood chips for the chicken coop for compost. So full circle moment. And but yeah, so I'll keep you updated on what germinates with my tomatoes, and I hope that you guys are getting ramped up and getting excited about gardening season for yourselves. And if you have any comments, please ask, or questions, please ask in the comments, and I'll do the best I can to answer them. I hope you have a great day.